Alright everybody, my name's Andrew Marcus and I'm going to be talking about Vim today. As you know, Dr. Little uses Vim in class. I don't remember if he's ever talked about the advantages though, but that's what I'm here for. I hope that I can help shed some light on why people still use Vim even though it's been around since the very early days of Unix, and what you can get out of it. So I hope that this is going to be interactive. Please follow along when we get to the follow along portions. If you're on a Mac, then you should be able to go to Vim from the terminal. On Windows, if you have Git Bash, you should also be able to go to VI or Vim, so just check that out. So first of all, let's just talk about some reasons why you would want to use Vim. So Vim is a text editor. The whole philosophy behind it is that you can edit text at the speed of thought. Also, the idea is that all of the commands are available from the home row, so you can type without having to use your mouse, which saves a ton of time. And some people call it the fastest editor on the planet. Basically loads as soon as you hit the Vim command. Compare that to, say, really any editor or IDE that's not in the shell, and you're going to be waiting a few seconds or longer. There's also lots of plugin potential, so it's very extensible. You can customize it to be exactly how you like it, and any system that you're on, if you're editing on a server, you're probably not going to have your favorite editor anymore. So even if you use a different editor, then being confident in Vim or VI will make you very impressive to any people at work that are familiar with that sort of stuff. So there are lots of ways that you can learn it, and we're going to go through a few and be very interactive with it. Alright, so the first tool that we'll explore is using Vim Tutor. This is built in on any system, so if you're on a Mac or if you have access to a computer with Vim, if you just run Vim Tutor directly, it'll launch into this nice little tutorial on how to use Vim. So as you can see, there are these little arrows that represent how you move in Vim. So going back to what I said earlier about everything happens on the home row, H moves left, L moves right, K moves up, J moves down, and that's how it's going to be moving around most of the time, so get comfortable with that. You can take your time, pause the video, go through this lesson, and we'll go on to the next lesson. Alright, so now we're on to lesson 1.2, exiting Vim. And this is a serious lesson because if you followed along this far, and I hope you have, then you're probably wondering how you get out of Vim. And this is such a widespread question that on Stack Overflow they actually published an article about how they helped 1 million developers exit Vim. That's how many times it's been viewed, just because there's nothing in your face that tells you how to do it. So as you can see, then your cursor should be a block, and that means that you're in what's called normal mode. So there are modes in Vim, but yeah, so here we're in normal mode. And so just to make sure we're in normal mode, you can press the escape key, and then when you do that from anywhere, you can just type :Q and then the exclamation mark. And when you do that, then you'll exit. And so that's just the easiest way to leave Vim. So just take a second to read a little bit more about lesson 1.2. Alright, so I hope that you did lessons 1.1 and 1.2. As you can see, there are several more lessons going over deletion, how you insert, how you append, how you edit a file. But I'll let you do that yourself since it's well documented here. And there is one other cool way to learn Vim, and that's through this website called vimadventures.com that I'll throw up here in just a second. So definitely check those out if you're at all interested, and I'll move on to more interactive things after this short message about Vim Adventures. Alright, so I came back so I could show you. It's vimadventures.com, and here is a more exciting way of exploring Vim. As you can see, has fun little sounds, and it gets you used to using the commands. It has little adventures for you to do, and it teaches you the different skills of Vim as you go along. So definitely check that out. Alright, so here's where the learning is going to take place, like I have up on the screen. Please open something, whether it's a new file, an HTML or JavaScript project you're already working on, just anything. It will make it so much more enjoyable than just having to watch through the whole video. So I've already made a file, but like I said, just open anything, it doesn't matter. So I've prepared a little bit of a tour of Vim. You might want to watch this like if you're following along and typing at half speed if it's going too fast. I'll also get screen keys pulled up. That way you can see what I'm typing. Promise I won't type any passwords. So the first things that you need to know is that Vim has modes. And you may have already experienced this, but we are in normal mode right now. This is the default mode that you are in for most of the time in Vim. I just called it navigation here because this is when you can navigate, but it's actually normal mode. So then say that we want to type something, some text, we want to do insert mode. And so, you know, in your file that you're in, just press I, and wherever you're at, you'll see that you can type stuff. So you can, you know, start typing. This is what you normally go to edit files for. And escape will always toggle you back into normal mode, and it'll place you here where you're at. So V is for visual mode, so it allows you to select lines. If you press V once, so look at the bottom, if you select V once, then it'll kind of give you a little section that you can select along. What I use most often is the capital V, so most of these have a capital variant that will modify how they behave. So V, capital V, will select in a block form, so it'll get all of this all at once. So that's enough about modes. If you need to learn any more, you can Google for a second. So here are some nouns. So in Vim, everything's mnemonic. So W refers to a word, T for a tag, I for in. So W also lets you move forward a word. So instead of using L to move all the way across the screen, you can just type W to get there, right? So try that. And so nouns are only useful with verbs though, right? So here we see and change. So when we're at the beginning of a word, say that you're on this, but it's in your file, whatever you've got selected, or maybe you typed something out. If you type C and then W, then it lets you change that word. And U is for undo. So if you ever make a mistake, you can do that. So you could change a word, you can change in, we learned about in, right? So change in this parentheses block. So it's really as easy as doing CI for change in, and then a parenthesis to say I want to change inside parentheses. It also works for HTML tags, and this is super helpful because, you know, I hate it, or I used to hate it when I would have to, you know, select very finely, and sometimes it'd go over, and it was just a big pain. But now all I have to do is do CIT, and it changes whatever's in that tag to be whatever you want it to be. And then you just press escape to exit again. So D is for deleting. So as you imagine, it's similar to before. So delete a line above, we do DW, that deletes the word. So try that out. Deleting in something, delete in parentheses. That works. So if you want to, you know, simulate this, go and press I to get into insert mode, type out parentheses with some content, and parentheses, press escape to get back into normal mode. Move inside the parentheses and delete inside the parentheses. That way you can have what you'd like. So that's how you change and delete, but what about copying? So Y stands for yank, and it allows you to yank words. So I could do YW, and then I could paste it like that. Sometimes I like to copy an entire line though, so if I press capital Y and then P, it will paste below, or I could do Shift P and it will paste above. So that's a little bit about verbs. Feel free to play around for a little bit. So navigation, sometimes J and K just aren't fast enough, even if you've got W for word, and I forgot one B to go back. So you can press GG to go to the top, and you can press G to go to the bottom. So then Control D is to go down half a page, Control U goes up half a page. And another thing is that sometimes, you know, it's kind of annoying to edit text at the bottom of the screen. I like to have it more, you know, a little higher up. So ZZ will center the page so that your cursor is at that position. So yeah, feel free to put some of this into practice and try out modifying some text with Vim. Alright, if you made it this far, then you're doing great, and I promise we're almost done. So my next part of the video is to show you some of the really cool functionalities of Vim, and lots of this is going to be stuff I haven't covered, but part of what got me into Vim was seeing how people could be really productive and fast using Vim, and that's what inspired me to use it. So hopefully this piques some interest. So let's say that we have an example use case where we want to have a file that has our pictures in it. And so I'm in my wallpapers directory right now for the nature wallpapers. And let's say that I want to have a file that has, anchor tags for all of those. So using the Emmet plugin, then I can quickly have boilerplate. Using the read command that comes with Vim down here, then I can read in everything that's in this directory. And then what I can do is I can select all of this content and I can run a command on it all at once. So I can run a normal command as if I was in normal mode to go to the beginning and type href equals and then the quotes. So then to finish that off, I can run the command to create that and then give it some title and then give it another anchor tag. And just like that, you have an HTML document with some anchor tags. Now obviously that was a little bit exaggerated and a little bit contrived, but you can see the power that can come from being able to quickly edit text using Vim in that way. Alright, so one more contrived example. Let's say that I have some data in a tabular format like in a spreadsheet, and I want to convert this to JSON. Now obviously there are tools that can do this for me, but if we wanted to just do it really quick, we could copy that over and we could make a JavaScript file. And let's say that we want to have an object or an array of people, and we wanted to have the contents of that document. So using what I did before, but in a different way, I can record a macro using, let me get screen keys up for you actually. So I can record a macro that will allow me to repeat a command on many different lines. So I'm starting out here on Emily. These are my siblings, by the way, so we're going to make an array of my siblings. So I can start recording a macro by pressing Q and naming it Q. So now I'm recording now, as you can see at the bottom. So whatever I do, I can have saved later. So I'll give it a key and use that as the value, and we'll call it good for one line. So I can stop recording, and then just like before, I can have it do a batch job on all of these by calling it 4 times. So so you reference the macro by the @ symbol and then the letter that you assigned it. So I assigned it Q. So I'll do 4 @ Q. And as you can see, it instantly formatted that, get rid of the keys at the top. And just like that, we have an array of people without having to manually go through and type it all. And so hopefully that shows you a little bit more about how you can reuse the commands in Vim to your advantage. Alright, I've used enough of your hard-earned time, so just to finish off, you can read about why you might not want to use Vim. But in my opinion, a good compromise is to use it in your favorite editor, mine being VS Code. So if we were just to convert over right now, then we'd see that we have Vim in VS Code. And this is going to be great for any time you're working on a larger project where you need to see more folders. And so I would encourage you to install the Vim extension. It's actually available in literally any editor because lots of people love Vim, and so you need to have access to that. So feel free to install that. Finally, I'd like to refer you to some additional resources. So Luke Smith on YouTube, he's got so many videos. He's kind of a crazy guy, but he has some good videos showcasing some of the power of Vim. What else? Obviously the Vim documentation is great. You can search for how to do basically anything. So I did that all the time, beginning like how do I search and replace, how do I move a line, things like that. And so whenever you Google something, there's definitely an answer because it's been used for so long. So yeah, just explore it some more, ask questions. Remember, Dr. Little uses Vim, so if you want to be like him and be cool, then give it a shot. Thanks, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.